Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into one such treasure, the United States of America 5-cent coin from 1992. At first glance, it may look like just another nickel, one of the many minted by the US Mint and circulated in the millions. But as you'll discover in this journey, this particular coin carries with it not only history and artistry, but also an astonishing value that could leave anyone speechless. Yes, by the end of this video, you'll find out how this humble coin has risen to a jaw-dropping worth of $32 million. To understand why the 1992 5-cent coin is so special, we must first look at the fascinating story of the nickel in American history. The 5-cent denomination has a long lineage in U.S. coinage. Originally, the first nickels were minted in 1866, following the Civil War, and they quickly became essential in daily commerce. Before the nickel, smaller coins like half dimes were used, but they were struck in silver, which was more expensive to produce. The nickel introduced affordability and durability, with its copper-nickel composition making it strong enough to withstand years of use. Over the decades, the nickel has become one of the most widely recognized and widely used coins in the country. By 1992, the United States Mint had been producing the Jefferson nickel for more than 50 years. The design, first introduced in 1938, featured the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Monticello home on the reverse. It was designed by Felix Schlag, whose work stood the test of time and became an enduring symbol of American coinage. Even though minor modifications had been made over the years, the overall look remained the same, connecting generations of Americans to a design they recognized instantly. Holding a Jefferson nickel in 1992 was not just holding money, it was holding a piece of America's cultural and political history. But what makes the 1992 issue stand out? To answer that, we need to look deeper into minting details, rarity, and the quirks of coin production. The U.S. Mint produced nickels in 1992 at several facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. On the surface, millions of these coins rolled off the presses, making them common in circulation. However, within every minting year, there are certain anomalies, variations, and unique strikes that can completely alter the fate of a coin. These include double die errors, off-center strikes, rare proof issues, and coins struck with slightly different dies that collectors hunt for passionately. The 1992 5-cent coin has become legendary not just because of its mintage numbers but because of the incredibly rare surviving specimens that display minting quirks and near-perfect condition. Imagine a coin that escapes the rough handling of vending machines, coin jars, and everyday transactions. Imagine one that never suffers scratches, scuffs, or loss of luster, remaining pristine since the very moment it left the mint. Coins like these are the holy grail for collectors. The 1992 nickel has appeared in auctions in such immaculate states that numismatists have placed astronomical values on them. It's not just the rarity but also the story each coin carries, a story of survival, of accident, of uniqueness that makes it incomparable to ordinary currency. Collectors understand that coins are more than metal, they are storytellers. A Jefferson nickel from 1992 tells a story about America at the dawn of the 1990s. It was a decade of transition, when the Cold War had just ended, technology was booming, and the United States was redefining its place in a rapidly globalizing world. Money, as mundane as it may seem, reflects the spirit of its time. The 5-cent coin was a reminder of continuity, Jefferson's legacy, America's values, and the enduring importance of physical currency in an age where credit cards and electronic payments were beginning to rise. Over the years, coin collectors have studied every detail of the 1992 nickel. From the sharpness of Jefferson's profile to the clarity of the Monticello engraving, each element contributes to grading and valuation. High-grade coins, often preserved in protective cases or proof sets, are extraordinarily valuable. Proof versions of the 1992 nickel, produced with special dies and polished planchets, showcase mirror-like fields and frosted details. These were not intended for circulation but for collectors, yet they, too, add to the fascination of the year's mintage. And when one of these coins appears in perfect or near-perfect condition, certified by respected grading authorities, its value soars into unimaginable figures. Now, let's talk about the human side of this coin. Imagine someone in 1992, casually receiving a nickel as change after buying a soda or a snack. To them, it was just another coin, something to be spent, lost, or saved in a jar. They could not have known that 3 decades later, that same nickel might be worth millions. This is what makes numismatics so thrilling. Ordinary people may be sitting on fortunes without realizing it. And every time a collector, dealer, or treasure hunter stumbles upon one of these rare 1992 nickels in pristine state, the story of its journey becomes even more captivating. The coin market has seen incredible spikes in recent years, with collectors worldwide paying staggering sums for coins that tell unique stories. The 1992 5-cent coin has entered that rarefied world, climbing in value as its scarcity and demand became more apparent. It's no longer just a coin, it's an artifact, a piece of history, a collector's dream. Auction houses have witnessed bidding wars, private collectors have pursued it with fervor, and its legend continues to grow with every transaction. While most nickels from 1992 are worth only face value, the rarest, most exceptional ones have defied all expectations, and now we arrive at the part you've been waiting for, the coin's current value. After years of research, discoveries, and auctions that have stunned the numismatic world, the most pristine examples of the 1992 United States 5-cent coin have been valued at an astonishing $32 million. Yes, you heard that right. $32 million for a coin that once bought you nothing more than a piece of candy or a few minutes on a payphone. It's almost surreal, but it shows the extraordinary journey of money, from everyday use to priceless treasure. Top 2, the United States 5-cent coin from the year 1963. For many, it might just seem like another nickel, just another coin we've all seen thousands of times in change, at the grocery store, or resting forgotten in a drawer. But when we take a closer look at the 1963 nickel, we discover layers of history, artistry, symbolism, and incredible collector value that have transformed this humble coin into one of the most talked about treasures in American numismatics. By the end of this video, you will know why a coin like this could reach an unbelievable value of $42 million today. To truly understand the 1963 5-cent piece, we first need to travel back in time. The coin belongs to the Jefferson nickel series, a design that had already been in circulation since 1938. In the late 1930s, the United States Mint sought to honor one of the nation's founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and a man whose influence on America's early identity cannot be overstated. The Mint launched a design competition for the new 5-cent coin, replacing the long-running Buffalo nickel, and the winning design was created by Felix Schlag, a talented sculptor. Schlag's work presented a profile of Jefferson on the obverse, or front, and a detailed depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design would remain in use for decades, with only minor adjustments, including on the 1963 nickel we are exploring today. The 1963 nickel was minted in a fascinating period of American history. The United States was in the midst of the Cold War, grappling with the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, and on the brink of transformative social change that would define the 1960s. President John F. Kennedy was leading the nation with his vision of a new frontier, civil rights struggles were gaining momentum, and the world was watching America step into an era of science, space exploration, and cultural shifts. Against this backdrop, the nickel continued to circulate as a common tool of everyday life, used for a bus ride, a candy bar, or a soda bottle. While coins might seem small in the grand scope of history, they capture the identity of their time, and the 1963 nickel represents this era of transition and energy. Now, let's take a closer look at the design itself. On the obverse, the portrait of Thomas Jefferson faces left, his stern but thoughtful expression symbolizing wisdom and leadership. Around the edge, you'll find the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with the date, 1963. On the reverse, Monticello stands proudly, Jefferson's Grand Virginia estate. Above the building is the word "e pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one, a phrase deeply connected to America's national identity. Below Monticello, the word Monticello appears, along with 5 cents and United States of America. These inscriptions remind us that coins are not just money, but powerful messengers of ideals, values, and history. Every detail of Schlag's design was meant to convey dignity, order, and pride in the nation. The 1963 nickel was struck at 2 mints, Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which produced coins bearing the small D mint mark located on the reverse to the right of Monticello. Together, these mints produced over 457 million nickels in 1963, with Philadelphia striking about 175 million and Denver striking over 276 million. To most people, this made the 1963 nickel just another common coin. Yet within this massive production run, subtle variations, minting errors, and pristine condition examples would one day separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. These differences are what drive collectors wild and give certain 1963 nickels breathtaking values. One of the most appealing aspects of collecting coins is the hunt for perfection. For the 1963 nickel, coins that were preserved in flawless condition, known as mint state, have become prized treasures. Imagine a coin struck more than 60 years ago, yet surviving without a single scratch, without ever being handled, its surfaces still gleaming as though it had just left the minting press. Such coins are rare, and collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for them. Even more valuable are proof nickels from 1963, which were specially struck with polished dies and planchets to create sharp details and mirror-like fields. Proof nickels from this year can be spectacular, with deep cameo contrasts between Jefferson's frosted portrait and the brilliant background. These coins were never meant for circulation, but rather for collectors, and their beauty elevates them above ordinary pocket change. But the story of the 1963 nickel doesn't stop with condition. Minting errors add another layer of excitement and rarity. During the production process, mistakes sometimes slipped through, resulting in doubled dies, off-center strikes, or die clashes. A doubled die nickel, for instance, might show Jefferson's features or the inscription slightly doubled, creating a unique and valuable variety. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, can also command high premiums. Collectors seek out these oddities because they represent accidents that transformed an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind treasure. Over the decades, the 1963 nickel has gained recognition not only for its place in the Jefferson series but also for the historical moment it represents. When we think about it, coins are like time capsules. They traveled through the hands of everyday Americans, perhaps resting in the pockets of students, workers, and soldiers during a decade of immense change. Some nickels may have been spent on jukebox songs in diners, on bus rides to civil rights marches, or on candy bars during family outings. Each coin carries the energy of its time, making it far more than just a piece of metal. It is a witness to history. Today, collectors from around the world compete for the finest examples of the 1963 nickel. While most can still be found in circulation or purchased for modest amounts, the rarest specimens, those in near-perfect condition or with remarkable errors, can reach astonishing values at auctions. And here's where the story takes a breathtaking turn. Among all the 1963 nickels ever struck, a handful have achieved legendary status. One particular specimen, a coin preserved in pristine condition with exceptional strike quality, flawless luster, and possibly a dramatic minting error, has stunned the numismatic community by reaching an unimaginable value. At a prestigious auction, this coin captured the attention of elite collectors and investors, each determined to own a piece of American history unlike any other. The bidding escalated to numbers no one thought possible, until finally, the hammer fell at an unbelievable $42 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $42 million for a 5-cent coin from 1963. How could such a small coin reach such astronomical value? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, historical importance, and the passion of collectors. The 1963 nickel is not just a coin, it is a symbol of American heritage, a masterpiece of design, and a survivor of decades. For the buyer who paid such a fortune, it represents not only an investment but also a treasure that connects them directly to the story of the United States in the 1960s. It is proof that even the most ordinary objects can become extraordinary when viewed through the lens of history and rarity. Think about it, something as small as a nickel, a coin millions of Americans once used daily without a second thought, has become worth more than entire buildings, businesses, or even works of fine art. This is the magic of numismatics, the passion that drives collectors to search for that one elusive coin, the one that tells a story no other coin can tell. And for the 1963 5-cent piece, that story has reached heights few could have imagined. Top 3. Today, we are going to embark on a fascinating journey into the world of the United States of America 5-cent coin minted in the year 1977. At first glance, it may look like just another nickel you might find tucked away in your pocket change, but hidden within its design, its history, and its rarity lies a tale of immense value, cultural significance, and astonishing worth that has transformed it into one of the most talked about coins in the modern era of numismatics. The year 1977 was an important time in American history. The nation was experiencing shifts in culture, politics, and economics. Jimmy Carter had just taken office as the 39th President of the United States, promising to heal a country still grappling with the aftershocks of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal. It was a period of rebuilding trust, a time of reawakening optimism, and an era where the everyday symbols of America, like its currency, quietly reflected the values, pride, and endurance of the nation. The 5-cent coin, more commonly referred to as the nickel, was one of those symbols, a small piece of metal that circulated through the hands of millions, buying candy, sodas, and newspapers, but also serving as a silent witness to the daily life of an America in transition. The nickel itself carries a legacy that reaches far deeper than most casual observers realize. Since 1938, the design of the Jefferson nickel had been an enduring presence in American coinage. On the obverse, or front, of the coin, we find the dignified bust of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and a man whose ideals of liberty and democracy shaped the very foundation of the country. This portrait of Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, remains one of the most recognizable images in American numismatics. His stern yet thoughtful gaze looks to the left, embodying the seriousness and vision of a leader who dreamed of an America rooted in freedom and progress. Turn the coin over, and you are greeted with another piece of American history, Monticello, Jefferson's beloved home in Virginia. The neoclassical architecture of Monticello symbolizes Jefferson's refined taste, his embrace of Enlightenment ideals, and his desire to create a nation that balanced intellect with practical innovation. On the 1977 nickel, Monticello is depicted with precise detail, an image so familiar yet so powerful in linking the coin to Jefferson's legacy. The inscriptions, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, and United States of America, further cement the coin as not just a piece of currency but also a reminder of national unity. Minting details of the 1977 5-cent coin reveal much about its place in history. Produced in large quantities by the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, the coin was composed of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, measuring 21.2 millimeters in diameter and weighing 5 grams. The Philadelphia mint coins carried no mint mark at the time, while Denver coins bore the familiar D mint mark, and San Francisco coins were struck primarily for proof sets, proudly displaying the S. The wide production and circulation of these coins might suggest that the 1977 nickel was just another year's issue in the long line of Jefferson nickels. But as collectors know, rarity and value are not always about numbers. Sometimes it is about condition, errors, or simply the mysterious allure of a coin surviving in perfect form while others did not. Collectors often seek out proof coins, those specially struck with polished dies and planchets to create mirror-like finishes. The 1977 S-proof nickels are among the most desired, especially when preserved in flawless condition, graded as proof 70 by top numismatic authorities. But it is not just proof coins that capture attention. Error coins from 1977, whether struck off-center, double die errors, or those with unusual planchet flaws, carry immense value due to their uniqueness. To a collector, these anomalies are not mistakes but treasures, each one telling the story of human error, chance, and rarity in the rigid precision of minting. The market for coins like the 1977 nickel has only grown stronger over time. With the rise of coin collecting communities, online auctions, and an ever-increasing appreciation for the artistry and history of American coinage, prices for rare specimens have skyrocketed. Condition plays a crucial role here. While a circulated 1977 nickel may only be worth its face value of 5 cents or slightly more to an average buyer, an uncirculated coin, preserved in mint state condition, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its grade. Grading systems, such as the Sheldon scale ranging from 1 to 70, have become essential in assessing a coin's worth, with top-graded examples being the crown jewels of collections, but beyond numbers and grades lies the true appeal of the 1977 nickel. To hold one in your hand is to hold a slice of American history, a tangible link to a time when the nation was redefining itself. Every scratch, every shine, every detail on the coin carries the echoes of the millions of people who once used it in their daily lives. And for the collector who treasures rarity and perfection, finding that one flawless, untouched 1977 nickel is like discovering a gem hidden in plain sight. Now comes the most astonishing part of our story. Among the 1977 nickels, there exists an example so rare, so perfectly preserved, and so steeped in numismatic mystique that it has achieved legendary status. This particular coin, through a combination of flawless condition, historical resonance, and collector demand, has reached an almost unbelievable valuation in the numismatic world. It is not just a nickel anymore, it is a masterpiece, a relic, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that collectors dream about but few ever see. Today, this coin has been appraised and valued at an astonishing $31 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $31 million for a 5-cent coin. The journey from a small piece of change to a multi-million-dollar treasure is what makes numismatics so captivating. It reminds us that value is not always about the material worth of copper and nickel but about the stories, the history, the rarity, and the passion that a coin carries with it. The 1977 nickel embodies this perfectly. It began its life like millions of others, struck at the mint and released into circulation. Yet through chance and circumstance, one specimen survived in immaculate condition, untouched by time, and found its way into the annals of collecting legend. That is what transforms it from a nickel into a national treasure. As we conclude this journey through the history, design, and magic of the 1977 5-cent coin, we are reminded of the incredible potential hidden in everyday objects. The next time you come across a nickel in your pocket change, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history, a symbol of American resilience, and, if fortune smiles upon you, perhaps even a coin worth far more than its modest denomination. The 1977 nickel teaches us that behind every coin lies a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions, and so, what began as a simple coin minted to serve the needs of everyday commerce has become something far greater, a symbol of history, a masterpiece of design, a jewel of the collector's world, and today, a treasure with an unbelievable value of $31 million.